Live from McNeese Baseball Park at Rush Chandler Stadium on the campus of Georgia Tech University in beautiful Midtown Atlanta, Georgia. It's the culmination of the 2023-2024 Bethune-Cookman University athletic calendar as the Bethune-Cookman Diamond Cat baseball team takes to the field one final time this season in a hunt to go one better than they did last year in this building and win a SWAC championship. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Trillo. Happy to have your company. Bryce Soynoski joins me from this beautiful venue here in Atlanta. Bryce, it's always great to come back here, and the Wildcats have a legitimate shot once again at taking down that tournament.
Absolutely. Certainly a tough road coming from where we were just about a calendar year ago, falling in that SWAC championship game on this very field to rival Florida A&M. It's not an easy hill to climb to try to get back to a championship game like this. It's hard, win or lose, to go all the way back. The Wildcats will have their work cut out for them this week. It's going to take everybody up and down this roster, in the lineup, on the mound, in the field. Everybody is going to have to contribute. It's going to be an exciting week, as we saw last year. Anything can happen in this thing. It's going to be fun.
I spoke to starting pitcher today, Tanner Bocabello, last night to get his thoughts on the SWAC tournament. I'm here with Tanner Bocabello before the Wildcats take on the Prairie View A&M Panthers to open up the 2024 SWAC tournament. Tanner, let's take a look at your entire season as a whole. You came up from the JUCO level this year, up to Bethune-Cookman at the D1 level, and dominated. You led the conference in your way, were just named Newcomer of the Year at the awards banquet this evening. What are your thoughts on your performance this year?
I came to Bethune-Cookman, just wanting an opportunity to be a starter, and I worked every day in the fall for it, and I was granted the Friday night, our first series of the year, and I just kind of let it ride the whole season. I'm just looking for consistency in every of my starting, giving my team best chance to win every time I step on the mound.
Coming up, you're playing Prairie View this morning. They're a team that is very similar statistically to the Alabama State team you played last week. Hit the ball hard. Pitching depth's not going to be as deep as maybe some of the other teams you've seen. What's the goal to attack this hitting staff tomorrow?
We've gone over scouting with them. So I think we're going to just start off out the gate, just fastball, see if they can handle it at 9 o'clock in the morning. And if they make adjustments to it, then we'll start locating off speed. But other than that, I just got to hit my spots and locate and just dominate and see how far I can go tomorrow.
Last Thursday, you took a comebacker off the leg against Alabama State. How has that rehab been, and you set up for this week?
Yeah, it was just a bone bruise. So, I mean, there's going to be a little bit of pain and discomfort, but nothing was going to make me miss this start for this team. So,
All right, thank you, Tanner. Good luck tomorrow.
thank you so much.
Bryce, as Tanner said, he wants to make this start for this team, fight through injury, and it kind of tells you about the mentality of the team as a whole, right? They want this, even though they fell short last year, and there's a lot of new faces. They know that they have a good chance to win this thing.
Absolutely. Tanner Bocabello is a really low-key guy, but he absolutely has that competitive fire inside of him, again, as does a lot of this team. Good mixture on this team, I think, of your returning guys who've been here, who've done this, who've seen what it takes to claw back, to come through, to get to that championship game, and a good mix of younger guys who are trying to get their feet wet in a Division I baseball tournament of this caliber. It's going to be interesting to see how that mix plays out, but it's going to take, like I said, a little bit from everybody to get you to that championship game.
Let's hear what Coach Johnny Hernandez had to say leading up to this year's tournament. I'm here with Coach Johnny Hernandez before the Wildcats take on Prairie View A&M to open up the 2024 SWAC tournament. Coach, a little bit of a preview on Prairie View. They're very similar to the Bama State team you played last weekend. They hit the ball hard. Pitching depth's maybe not as deep as what you've seen from some other teams this season. What's going to be your strategy going into tomorrow?
Just like it's been all year. I think the consistent message, every time we've spoken post game that we've had success is get to the bullpen early, especially in a tournament of this magnitude, right? If we're able to, knock out the starter tomorrow, Michael Dews, he's a really good right-handed pitcher that Prairie View has counted on the last couple of weeks on, to open up their series. So it's a situation for us is how quickly can we get to the bullpen? Offensively, just got to execute when those opportunities present themselves. And on the mound, we just got to, keep them off the bases because they do run a lot also.
Extremely early start tomorrow, 9 a.m. It feels almost like a throwback to your travel ball days, getting up and going and playing multiple games early in the morning. What has been the message of the team this week to get them ready for that?
How mature are we, to take care of our bodies with such an early turnaround or early game tomorrow? I think that we have a really good group, a group that's very disciplined, so they understand what's at stake. I think it helps that you have a couple of returners from last year's, championship run that we had, that wasn't successful for us. But at the end of the day, it's, get out and do what you got to do. There's no excuses. No one's going to feel bad for us. We just got to come in, punch in the clock, and the whole body of work we've had throughout the course of the season leads to this one moment tomorrow.
Let's go back and talk about the Alabama State series a little bit. After you drop the first two games, you come into Saturday needing that win, and to get it in such a dominating fashion and sending your seniors out with a win, how important was that? Not just to get the number 2 seed, but about morale going into the tournament.
I think it was huge. That's some momentum that we want to carry over, right, to tomorrow's game. You're playing for something the final weekend of the year, and that's always something positive with the progression of each program. That you're that you're running. So, the fact that we're able to play for something and have that I guess this offensive display. But it was probably the best game that we've played, not because of the score, but pitching was really good. Defensively, we were solid, and we took advantage of opportunities. I think that that's probably one of the best games that we've played all year.
This is the only time, really, in a long college baseball season that you kind of almost feel like a professional team. You're playing potentially 6 games in 6 days. How do you prepare a team for that when you haven't been through that kind of grind all season?
Well, our baseball program is no stranger, right, to playoff baseball, and that's something that we've kind of the tradition that we do have here at Bethune. I think the message is just take it one day at a time, right? That you can't look forward to Sunday if you don't take care of business on Wednesday. So I know it's cliche, but it's one pitch at a time, one inning at a time. Instead of playing one 9 inning game, let's play nine, 1 inning games. So that's I think the thought process that we're gonna have to go through because again, we can't let the highs get too high and the lows get too low, especially with this tournament. It's going to be very emotional, for some guys, and we just got to stay even keel. And again, we just got to trust our process and revert back to our ability to do what we need to do.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Hail Wildcats.
We welcome those of you listening to us live in Daytona Beach on 1380 WELE The Cat, and also hello to the booth cam returning from the basketball tournament from earlier this year as the Wildcats starting lineup gets introduced down on the field in front of us. Let's go through those starting lineups. For Prairie View, in right field, it's Michael Smith. In center, it's Garrison Weiss. Left field, Michael Burrows. First base, Marshall Jonas. Designated hitter, Tyron Norris. Third base, Trenton Bush. Second base, Lee Allen. Catcher, Derek Lathan. Shortstop, Isaac Davila. And their starting pitcher is Michael Hughes. And for Bethune-Cookman, it's a very familiar lineup to those of you who frequent our broadcast over the past couple of months. Daniel Figueroa leads off. Garrett Chun bats second and plays left. Sergio Rivera in right. Jose Gonzalez, the designated hitter. First base is Manny Sufrain. Catcher reserve and Escobar. Third base, Jorge Gonzalez Fabo. Shortstop, Ramses Cordova. The second baseman is Colton Olison. And on the mound is the SWAC preseason pitcher of the year by perfect game and the postseason newcomer of the year, Tanner Bocabello. How important is it to start fast on the mound, get through those early innings with minimum amount of damage, especially against a team like Prairie View that's going to hit the ball hard?
Oh, absolutely. It's critical. And the one thing you kind of have to balance in this championship, in this tournament as a coach, is going to be kind of playing that long game versus trying to really gun for that win on day one or one at a time. It's a long grind, but you can't necessarily give up your opportunities. That loser's bracket is a grind.
Thank you for tuning in to the pregame show here on the CatEye Network Radio. We'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, it's the first pitch between the Prairie View A&M Panthers and the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. This is BCU Athletics on CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE. Back at Rush Chandler Stadium, McNeese Baseball Park in downtown Atlanta. We are just about set for baseball action here on the CatEye Network. The Wildcats have taken the field. They're in their 70s Phillies-esque blue uniforms, the powder blues with the maroon numbers, white trim, maroon hats with a white logo. Tanner Bocabello getting set and throwing his warm-up pitches to Irvin Escobar behind the plate. Prairie View A&M, gold caps with purple jerseys, Panthers across the front in script with a big tail in gold numbers on the back, gray pants with a purple stripe for Prairie View A&M. Something we haven't talked about really, Bryce, is this game is at 9 in the morning. We had to wake up super early. The team woke up earlier than us. You're off rhythm. You're off cycle. Coach talked about it a little bit in the interview, but it's so important to win today. Not only because you get dropped into the loser's bracket if you don't, but if you lose today, you're right back here at 9 in the morning tomorrow to play an elimination game. If you win, you get the chance to sit back. You don't play till 3 o'clock tomorrow. You get a chance to rest and reset.
The losers bracket is a absolute bear for teams in this tournament, and everybody knows that coming in. If you drop into that thing, as we saw last year, it can kind of result in you running out of guns by the time you get to that championship game on Sunday. If you fall in, you're risking playing extra games, playing under a little bit of rest. Don't underestimate every opportunity that you can get to rest anybody. Arms, guys in the field, your catcher behind the plate, guys swinging the bats. It can go so far. You cannot drop into that loser's bracket, especially not early.
Here we go. Michael Smith, the freshman right fielder batting .342, steps into the right-handed batter's box. He's got 65 runs on 55 hits, 12 doubles, 3 triples, a team-high 9 homers, and a team-high 51 RBI, getting on base at 52.4%. First pitch, Tanner Bocabello is a ball inside as Smith squared to bunt, and the count is 1-0. Important to throw strikes for Tanner Bocabello early, create maybe some of that weak contact that we saw Daniel Gaviria feast off of. There's a strike right down the middle against Alabama State back on Saturday.
It's really the most important factor across the board in this tournament. If you can keep guys off the bases with free passes, you are set up for success.
The 1-1 from Bocabello is in there for strike 2. I thought it was interesting talking to Tanner last night at the hotel. They plan to attack with the fastball first and then go the off-speed pitch. Because one of Tanner's greatest strengths is here's the 1-2 against Smith. Swing and a miss. Got him. Fastball low and away, and there's 1 down. 3 straight fastballs in that at-bat.
And Tanner Bocabello does a really great job of mixing even AB to AB. He'll have a sequence like that where he'll go with nothing but the hard stuff. And then the next AB, he can come through and throw nothing but off speed. And guys really have no idea what's coming at them. He does a really great job of resetting as each new batter steps to the plate.
Well, stepping in now is Garrison Weiss. He's a right-hand hitter batting .310. First 6 in this Prairie View order, all batting over 300. There's a fastball strike at the knees. Weiss, 41 runs on 57 hits, 12 doubles at homer, and 43 RBI. The 1-1, it's fouled straight. Sorry, the 0-1 is fouled straight back, and it's 0-2. If you're used to watching our coverage of games at Jackie Robinson Ballpark, this arena is a much different beast. 390 to dead center, 329 down the left field line, 334 down the right field line, but the power alleys are very shallow as Bocabello misses his spot upstairs 1 and 2 to Weiss. Left field power alley towards the scoreboard 382, but the right field alley 350 with some big trees back there, a haven for left-handed hitters. The 1-2 chopped softly towards second base. Colton Olison fields, throws to the covering Bocabello at first for out number 2. It was a little closer than I made it sound. Bocabello had to sprint over there. There was a little bit of miscommunication between Sufrain over at first and Olison at second to see who was going to get that ball.
And communication is always key for what is a really outstanding Wildcat defense. Finished just 0.001 point off the overall lead in fielding percentage category in the SWAC, just behind Florida A&M.
And now with 2 down, here's Michael Burrows. He's the big threat in this lineup, batting .367. He was named All-SWAC second team last night at the awards ceremony. And he swings and misses at a fastball high and inside, and it's 0-1. Burrows, as I mentioned, batting .367, the sophomore, 47 runs on 69 hits, 16 doubles, 3 triples, 5 homers, and 53 RBI. And he takes one upstairs. Still all fastballs for Bocabello. Haven't really seen him go with either a slider or a curve, which we know he has.
And, you talk about the haven for lefties, all right-handed lineup for Prairie View to start this game.
Bocabello deals upstairs 2-1. That's the first time Tanner's been behind in the count. And important first pitch strikes and getting ahead and staying ahead in counts if you're the pitcher. We harped on this a lot in the Alabama State series over the weekend. The 2-1, inside 3-1, still all fastballs from Bocabello.
And you wonder if it has anything to do with still kind of working his way back from trying to, pitching a little differently when you're a little banged up in the knees. You don't think it's anything injury related, but certainly hammering the fastballs early.
Fouled straight back. That was a fastball in on the hands. Burrows up 3-1 in the count. I don't think he needed to swing at that, but it makes it go full 3-2.
These West teams on the SWAC are unbelievably aggressive at the plate. They will swing up in the count, down in the count, ahead in the game, behind. It doesn't matter. They are swinging the bat.
And like a lot of West teams, they put up a lot of runs. 3-2, fouled away again off to the right, and we'll do the full count once more. They have put up some crooked numbers, and they've lost multiple times when they've scored 10-plus runs. So a lot of games for this team end up being slugfests. 3-2, 2 down, top of the first. Tanner Bocabello trying to get the Panthers to go 1-2-3. His payoff pitch is on the way. And strike 3 called. Burrows watched it right down the middle. 1-2-3. Go the Panthers with 2 strikeouts for Tanner Bocabello. Nice start if you're the BCU defense. Let's see if the offense can pick him up as we go to the bottom of the first. You're listening to BCU Athletics on the CatEye Network Radio on 1380 WELA. We go to the bottom of the first here in Atlanta. Wildcats set the Panthers of Prairie View A&M down 1-2-3, and now Daniel Figueroa will stand in to lead off against the right-handed pitcher Dews. First pitch strike with the knees fastball. Numbers on Michael Dews. He's a 6.14 ERA, 4-3 is his record, 14 appearances, 13 starts, and the 0-1 is a breaking ball. Big 12-6 curve, missed it inside, 1-1. 73 and a third innings pitched for Dews. He's given up 68 runs on 98 hits. 1-1. Strike at the knees. Nice frame job by the catcher, Latham. And it's 1-2. Striking out 74, walking 22 with an opponent batting average of .314. The 1-2 pitch from Dews, swing and a miss from Figueroa on a breaking ball. And he goes down. So first batter strikeout across the board from both teams. Dews is a strikeout machine, but he does give up a fair amount of hits, but his hit-to-run ratio is very low, so he's good with runners on base.
The key for this Wildcat squad offensively throughout this week is going to be to minimize ABs that are not productive. You've got to put up good swings.
There's a swing and a foul back from Garrett Chun. Chun batting 263, 43 runs on 57 hits, 7 doubles, 3 triples, 40 RBI, and a 381 on base. That one's way outside of the lefty. Not a lot of lefties in this game. Garrett Chun and Manny Sufrain, the only ones for both teams. There's another 12-6 curve, missed it outside to Dews. Dews also has a fantastic strikeout to walk ratio, 74 strikeouts, just 22 walks. And the righty deals the 2-1 to Chun, who swings and misses at a slider that tails away, and it's 2-2.
We see these Wildcats kind of go into little stretches where sometimes they'll be ultra conservative, other times they're pretty free swinging.
2-2. Chun right back up the middle in the air, and that's going to drop in front of Weiss in center field for a base hit.
That is an outstanding way of staying in the AB and like we said, putting up a productive at bat. Doesn't always have to result in a base hit, but takes it right the other way. Really simple, nothing, out of the ordinary on that swing for Garrett Chun, and he's giving early life. Scoring first in this game is very important. These Wildcats win ball games when they are in front first.
And of course, as Coach Hernandez always says, chase to the bullpen. Here's Sergio Rivera, the righty, standing in now. First pitch to him from Dews. Spares to bunt, puts it down third base side. It'll go foul. Rivera batting 286, 39 runs on 58 hits, a team-high 12 doubles, 3 triples, and 30 RBI for Rivera. Sergio, been a mainstay out there in right field. Didn't play on Saturday because it was senior day, and Coach Hernandez wanted to get the seniors in, but he's kind of been, I don't want to say the weak link in the first 5 of this order, but he certainly has the propensity to strike out.
And he's done so at a higher clip with 42 on the season. Still got a lot of athleticism, and he can get hot. He's done it many times this year.
Behind 0-1 to Dews. Breaking ball popped sky high first base side. That will make the seats, and it's 0-2. Interesting decision with 1 down to try and bunt Chun over to second.
We are going to see, I think, a lot of small ball from these Wildcats early and often in this tournament. Of course, the steal of home kind of takes the spotlight in a lot of what they try to do on the base pass, but there's going to be a lot of moving guys over and stealing bags. They've done it all year.
Rivera down 0-2. Fastball in on the hands for ball 1. As a mostly partisan Prairie View crowd gives their opinion of that call from the home plate umpire. Couple of BCU shirts down over there for that left-hand side. Here's the 1-2 from Dews. Breaking ball hit, Rivera on the arm. And that is what you can't do for any pitching staff in this tournament. You have got to keep runners off the base pass with free passes.
If you're going to win a title, you have to minimize mistakes, whether it's mistakes in the field or, in this case, mistake pitches. It's just too easy when you open the door like this. And what do we say about the Wildcats all year? They just have a way of punishing mistakes like that.
And now here's the hottest bat in the Wildcat order, Jose Gonzalez. A team-high 356 average. And an all-SWAC performer this season. First pitch from Dews, a big, loping breaking ball that misses inside. Actually may have hit him. Oh, it's a warning. A warning for both dugouts to not stick their elbows out when they're at the plate. So it did hit Gonzalez on the elbow, but the home plate umpire is not sending him to first because he thinks he encroached on the plate.
Well, it's an interesting stance to take as the home plate official early on in this game. Must have seen it from both sides if he's going to go out and make that call early. Not sure I necessarily saw it from up here, but
the count is 1-1. No, correction, 0-1. They call it a strike. That one's in the dirt, 1-1 now. I think that's the first time we've seen that called all year.
I think it's one of the few times I've seen it called ever, especially in that capacity.
Chun on second, Rivera on first after a single and a hit by pitch. Went out of the inning. Figueroa led off with a strikeout from Dews. The 1-1. As Dews checks the runner on second, comes home with it. That time he did hit him. And that time he can't ignore it because it got him on the upper shoulder. So the bases are full of Wildcats. 1 out, bottom of the first, and the batter is Manny Sufrain.
And when we go and talk about punishing mistakes, the Wildcats have also had their fair share of struggles on the year with runners in scoring position and runners on as a whole. And this is an early opportunity here. You cannot afford to come up empty.
We're going to have an early mound visit for Prairie View. This is head coach Antoine Ruggins in his 9th season at Prairie View A&M. They're not going to change anytime soon. There's nobody up in the bullpen, and there's no real reason to take your Friday night starter out of the game for, hitting 2 guys in the first inning. But it's an interesting trend that we need to watch out for.
And, I don't necessarily think that this Prairie View team, the pitching-wise, is going to struggle like this all day. I think a start like this is certainly an anomaly. But we do know that if Prairie View wants to win this ball game, or any ball game in this tournament, it's going to be with the bats and not prioritizing the pitching. They haven't been a team that's been able to rely on the guys on the mound consistently. So it's going to be taking advantage of opportunities like this that can go a long way for the Wildcats.
Bases loaded, 1 down. First pitch to Manny Soufrain is a breaking ball, low ball 1. Soufrain on the year is batting .288, 39 runs on 44 hits, 9 doubles, 2 triples, a team high 5 homers, and 34 RBI. The lefty against the righty Dews. Here's the 1-0. Fastball misses outside. You can tell Dews is being super careful because I think everybody knows what Manny Soufrain did to baseballs in this tournament last year. Smashed him over that 350 sign in right field.
And guys have been careful around him all year, regardless of that short porch. So that's only heightened now.
2-0, way outside, 3-0. So Dews in danger of walking in a run. Dews, the native of Arlington, Texas, a junior, transferred from Connors State Junior College after freshman year. He is at a tough spot. Chun on third, Rivera on second, Gonzalez on first, Soufrain ahead in the count, 3-0. Expect him to keep the bat off on the shoulders here. And it's ball 4 low. You can tell Dews wanted to just groove that one down the middle, but he over-rotated on it, and the Wildcats are on the board first. It's 1-0. Garrett Chun. Chun walks in from third. Rivera goes to third. Gonzalez to second. Soufrain to first. 3 straight free passes issued by Dews to hit by pitches and now a walk.
And it's not getting any easier because the hero of last year's SWAC tournament's at the plate.
Going to be about 600 in the 6 games we played at this tournament last year. Just
Pretty
ridiculous.
close.
There's a fastball low and inside to Irvin Escobar. He's batting .300, and this is at bat number 101 on the year for Escobar. Base is still loaded, 1 down. The pitch. There's a strike finally on the inside corner for Dews. 1-1. Escobar, 19 runs on 30 hits, 4 doubles, 2 triples, 14 RBI. Only 6 strikeouts at 100 at-bats this season for Irvin Escobar. As he stares down the 1-1 and hits it in the air, first base side, foul. That'll make the bullpen down the first base line.
And the Wildcats are kind of a rare team, really in all of the game of baseball, but especially at this level with not only 1, but 2 catchers who are offensively competent behind the plate. I mean, you look at down the line at Prairie View's catcher batting .156. It's a luxury not a lot of teams have, and it's just another spot in this lineup that you can't pitch around.
1-2. Swing and a ground ball towards the first base side. Diving stop by Allen at second, and Heath got no play anywhere. Everybody's safe.
Wow. I thought I saw the ball squeak out of his glove, but he did hold on to it. Really a nice job just to be able to knock it down and give it a chance, but just a little bit too slow rolling, too slow developing, and it moves everybody up.
Everybody goes up a base. Rivera scores. It's 2-0 Wildcats. Gonzalez goes to third. Soufrain to second. Escobar to first with an infield single. And now here's Jorge Gonzalez-Fabo. And, man, I'm not sure if you can ask for a bigger spot for the freshman bat right now. First pitch to him. Breaking ball, slider missed inside to the righty Fabo, who's batting .248, 12 runs on 30 hits, 6 doubles, a triple, 2 homers, 12 RBI. The concerning number for Fabo, 38 strikeouts on the year. And he's got an 0-1 count, watches one right down the middle, 1-1.
He's definitely looked very much like a freshman a lot throughout this year. He's matured a little bit as we've gotten through the season, kind of cut down a little bit on those uppercut swings we've seen a lot early, but it's going to take a lot of growing up to do if he's going to be the day-to-day first baseman throughout this week.
Bases loaded, still just 1 out in the inning. Dews the pitch. Fabo fouls it off right at home plate, so it's 1-2. Ramses Cordova waiting on deck for Bethune-Cookman. And we have maligned a little bit the bottom part of this order for BCU as not being great offensively, especially the back half of the season. As here's the 1-2 to Fabo. Dews rocks and fires. Swing and a ground ball foul third base side. Count stays 1-2. This tournament is an excellent opportunity for guys like Fabo and Cordova and maybe even Jamie Villafane if he gets into a game to kind of step up offensively like we saw Escobar do last year.
You've got your stalwarts of the lineup, guys like Garrett Chun, Manny Sufrain, but like we said, it's going to take everybody. Someone's going to come out of this a hero.
1-2, low and inside, 2-2 to Fabo. And that is something that Jorge has done better as the season's gone on. He's had a lot more plate discipline than he had at the beginning of the year, and he's cut down on some of those strikeout numbers.
I think especially on the outer half of that plate, he's done a much better job of laying off a lot of pitches he'd get those big garden hose type swings at early on.
2-2 from Dews. Swing and a line drive foul. That is maybe as hard as I've seen any ball hit today. Fabo barreled it up, but was just a little bit ahead of the breaking ball. I would not be surprised if Dews goes back to the curve, though. It's been his best pitch.
Can't leave it hanging. Certainly has all the makings of one that could.
For the third time, we'll do the 2-2. Bases loaded, 1 out, 2 already in the first for the Wildcats. Dews deals. Swung on, ground ball, up the middle in there for a base hit. Coming in is Gonzalez. Sufrain rounds third. Here's the throw to the plate. It's cut off. And Sufrain scores. The ball gets away and rolls to the backstop. Everybody moves up. And there's going to be runners on second and third. It's 4-0 BCU. How about it, freshman Jorge Gonzalez Fabo?
And there was a lot of questions coming into this tournament about who's going to take that job over there at third base. You know, you had a handful of options. And it's really, I want to go back and credit Gonzalez Fabo's defense throughout the year that kept him in the line for that job. He's kind of let the bat come through behind it. And now we hear the Daytona Magic chants coming from that dugout. I think you said it yesterday, Mike, when we were just hanging around the hotel. I hope we get real sick and tired of that chant by the end of this week.
Here's Ramses Cordova, second and third. Still 1 out in the inning and some stretching going on in the Prairie View bullpen already. As Dews looks at Cordova, the right-hand hitter. Breaking ball, smashed! Left field down the line! Going back towards the wall! It's out of here! Adios, amigos! First pitch swinging! First pitch crushing for Ramses Cordova! He hits his 4th home run of the year! Down the third base line!
And I think I saw yesterday in the batting cages, you know, watching everybody go through and work, and Derek Hartine, the hitting coach, do an excellent job of kind of focusing on every guy and giving them their opportunities. Ramses Cordova has struggled a little bit throughout this season. We saw some early pop. We've seen he may be one of the guys who can hit the ball further than anybody else on this team, but he hasn't always done it consistently. Put together some great swings in the cages, liked what he was seeing. And again, you leave that ball down the middle, you're just going to get punished by a team like this. We worried coming into this tournament, how long would it take for the Wildcat bats to wake up? We've seen it in the past kind of haunt them. Even this last series to round out the year, bats weren't always there, kind of stifled, but leaving no doubt out of the gate.
7-0 in the first. There's still just 1 out. As here comes the 9-hole hitter, Colton Olison. I think in my wildest dreams this morning, I don't think we could have envisioned a better start. Here's a first pitch down the middle, strike 1 to Colton. He's a senior batting .268. 24 runs on 44 hits, 8 doubles, a triple, and 23 RBI. Dews misses low and away with the fastball. And you've now seen Dews go straight to that fastball, and that's all he's thrown the last couple of pitches because he's afraid of it getting smashed with the off-speed again. Here's the 1-1. Olison, hard single, up the middle. The carousel continues for the maroon and gold.
Everything is barreled up. Fastballs barreling it up, off speed. There is absolutely nothing right now that Dews has confidence in to throw. He's just missing locations. I mean, everything is over the heart of the plate, and these Wildcats, very mature hitters. Colton Olison, one who's been around the block so many times, his 3rd SWAC tournament now. He knows how to handle pitches like that. You just can't afford to do that. We knew this Prairie View team didn't quite have the arms to compete at a high level, and it looks like that might already be the end of their starter.
The Wildcats have batted around with 1 out, and the batter will be Daniel Figueroa, who's made the only out of the inning, was a strikeout first batter up. Since then, Chun singled, Rivera was hit by a pitch, Gonzalez was hit by a pitch, Sufrain walked, that forced in Chun from third, Escobar singled. That scored Rivera. Fabo singled. That scored Gonzalez and Sufrain. And then Ramses Cordova hammered one over the left field wall. A 3-run homer that scored himself, Gonzalez, Fabo, and Escobar. And then Olesen singled up the middle. You talked about making a good first impression, Bryce. I don't think there's a team now on this side of the bracket that wants to play this team right now.
And of course, it affords you a ton of flexibility now, being so far up in this game. I'm trying to get some confirmation of whether or not a run rule is allowed in the SWAC tournament. I believe you can still run rule, even though it is postseason play, which, of course, is 10 runs after 7 innings. Very early to think about that. We know how potent these Prairie View A&M bats are, but you've got a lot of flexibility here. But like you said, Mike, no matter what, you have shown the SWAC that last year wasn't enough. You're going to come out swinging. You know, we dropped the first game last year. It felt like it might be a quick trip. Leaving, no doubt. That's one of the phrases that this Wildcats coaching staff has used a lot throughout this year. You know, coming into games, coming into weekends, finish strong, leave, no doubt. And it's only been, you know, a handful of pitches through this game, but they have left no doubt.
So we have a pitching change already. The Friday night starter for Prairie View A&M, Michael Dews, goes a third of an inning, gives up 7 runs on 5 hits, and is gone. And I think that may be the coaching staff for Prairie View A&M saying, we may need him tomorrow for an elimination game. Let's just get him out of there.
And it's kind of, you get what you pay for when you're the West, who not only beats up on teams like Alcorn State, Arkansas Pine Bluff. They play a lot of non-conference conference games. You don't see a ton of stiff competition, especially with the bats. It's a really offensively powered league, so the pitching just isn't there, and it's already come back to hurt the Panthers.
Figueroa stands in, hits the ball on the ground to second. On to second for one, back to first. Not in time as Figueroa legs it out. So a fielder's choice, and there's 2 away in the inning as Olesen is caught going from first to second. As Garrett Chun stands in. He singled up the middle earlier in this inning. The batter is Elijah Breeden. Wildcats aren't going to even let me give a chance to talk about the new pitcher. They're just going to swing away. He is a junior with the best ERA on the squad of 5.14, the right-handed pitcher. There's a strike in the knees to Chun. He is 3-2, 24 appearances with 1 start. He's their best reliever out of the bullpen. 61 1/3 innings pitched for Breeden. Here's the pitch. It's golfed high in the air, not deep down the left field line. Burrows, the left fielder, camps under it and makes the catch. But wow, 7 runs, 5 hits, and 1 left on. We go to the top of the second. It's 7-0 Bethune-Cookman here on the CatEye Network Radio on 1380 WELE. Well, after all that excitement, as I can't even correctly use the audio mixer, it's still only the top of the second inning here at the SWAC tournament. Wildcats lead 7-0 after 1. Marshall Jonas is the batter. He golfs one to right field. Rivera right there to make the catch. 1 pitch, 1 down. And we talked in the break, Bryce, about how long do you let Bocabello ride with this lead? I mean, if he's getting first pitch outs like that all day.
Yeah, you're gonna let him cruise. I mean, he's a guy that can give you a ton of depth. He's gotten really close to 3 or 4 complete games on the year. And if you're working to contact like that and you're forcing Prairie View to have to swing the bats now to get back in this game, it could be a quick and efficient outing.
First pitch, a fastball strike at the knees to Tyron Norris. Norris, the designated hitter, junior, batting .309. 27 runs on 42 hits, 6 doubles, 2 homers, 20 RBI for Norris. Righty to righty. The pitch from Bocabello is a fastball that just missed off the plate outside. And it's 1-1. Now, remember, this Prairie View A&M team can put up runs. They can string hits together. They're not a team to take lightly as there's a foul tip into the glove, strike 2. You can't just go away even though you've got a 7-run lead.
Yeah, you cannot rule out any kind of slugfest. I mean, we've seen the Wildcats get into them a couple of times this year with some of the more powerful offenses that they've seen in this conference.
1-2 from Bocabello. Off the knob of the bat, foul, first base side. Count holds 1-2. I recall the fourth game of that weekend series against Mississippi Valley State. Trying to find the final score, 16-7, when the Wildcats had an 8-0 lead after 2. So it is not out of the realm of possibility for the Panthers to get back into this. That's a diving grab at second by Ramses Cordova. Full stretch to his left to get the laser beam line drive up the middle.
And you talk about a team that looks locked in on every facet of the game. Defensively, these Wildcats always come to play, but it's those little things like that that win you ball games. Staying locked in the field, locked into the plate, and when you've got Tanner Bocabello on the mound, it's going to be a tough team to beat today.
And now Trenton Bush, the third baseman, stands in. Bush, the junior, batting .284, and he fouls one off right towards the cameraman behind the Prairie View dugout. Look out, sir. It is not an easy job being the cameraman at a baseball game, as our friend Romeo, who's down there shooting for us, knows all too well. Bocabello ahead in the count 0-1 to Norris. I think that was the first off-speed pitch he threw, a slider that missed up and away.
No reason to go away from the hard stuff when it's been working so consistently.
Bush, 18 runs on 31 hits, 1 double, 3 triples, 2 homers, and 25 RBI. 2 outs here in the top of the second, 7-0 Wildcats. Some good defense to get the outs this time. That one way up and in for Bocabello. He taps his chest, says, my bad, and the count 2-1. I forgot to give Ramses Cordova an exclamation point. In fact, I might give him 2, because that play was so outstanding at shortstop.
I think he deserves to.
2-1 from Tenor. Spiked it, 3-1. Bocabello on the year, .279 ERA, 72, 14 appearances, 13 starts, 1 complete game, 87 innings, 35 runs on 98 hits, striking out 66, walking just 15. He's behind 3-1 to Bush. And he grooves one down the middle for strike number 2. Bush thought that missed a little bit outside. A home plate umpire seeing it Bocabello's way, and the count runs full. Long looking from Tanner as he shakes off a couple of pitches. Just 6 to go on the pitch clock. Here's the delivery. And it's ball 4, just missed low at the knee. So the first base runner for Prairie View A&M. And I'm going to harp on it again. And I'm going to harp on it every time it happens. You've got to be able to get off the field with 2 outs. And the Wildcats have killed themselves by allowing teams to hang around in games, hang around in innings when they should be back in the dugout and trying to increase their lead.
It's really about the most frustrating thing that you can encounter on the baseball field is just continuing to prolong and give life to teams that with one swing of the bat can get closer and closer into these games.
Lee Allen, the junior, batting .287, stands in now. There's a first pitch strike, fastball in on the hands. Allen, 38 runs on 41 hits, 4 doubles, 23 RBI, but a high on base percentage, .428, as they spin it a check back to first. Diving back in safely, Trenton Bush, who just reached on a walk. .30 walks, 29 strikeouts for Allen, and he fouls one off first base side, and it's 0-2. And you talk about the positive strikeout to walk ratio for pitchers. We don't often see it as a hitter. You have a positive walk to strikeout ratio.
The Wildcats have a couple of guys who are really capable of just being really disciplined at the plate.
Breaking ball misses low for Bocabello. He was ahead 0-2 trying to get a swing. I don't mind that idea. He's starting to mix in some of the off-speed stuff when he started with just fastballs in the first inning. Bush on first, 2 down in the top of the second, 7-0 Bethune-Cookman over Prairie View A&M. Bocabello deals. Breaking ball, hammered towards second, and a diving catch by Colton Olison. Have yourself a frame middle infield. Diving catch by Cordova for out number 2. Diving catch by Olison for out number 3. It's highlight after a highlight for the maroon and gold. We go to the bottom of the second. 7-0 Wildcats here on the CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE. To the bottom of the second we go here at Rush Chandler Stadium in Atlanta. Wildcats have a 7-0 lead. First pitch breaking ball strike to Sergio Rivera, who was hit by a pitch and scored in that 7-run first. The pitcher is Elijah Breeden. That ball is popped sky high behind second base. The second baseman, Allen, fades back to make the catch, and there's one away.
Well, you're a little ahead of schedule from where you think you might normally be with the bullpen already out here, already working. 7 runs in, but you can't get complacent.
Well, Elijah Breeden, of course, has the stats to be a starter in this league. A 5.14 ERA as that first pitch is low ball 1 to Jose Gonzalez, who was hit by a pitch and scored his first time up. And he's almost hit by another one up by the face. He leans back out of the way. 2-0 the count. The 5.14 ERA for Breeden, and that one's hit on the ground to short. Fielding on one hop is Davila, and he throws across the diamond a little high, but Jonas makes the play. And there's 2 away. And so if you're the Wildcats here, you can't get complacent and just start swinging away at everything because you're up 7-0.
There is a point where aggression does become a little bit too much. You want to make sure that you're still taking the balls that you should and doing your job as a hitter. The Wildcats have done that a lot consistently, but you can continue to get to this bullpen and make it more and more miserable on this Panthers team.
Manny Sufrain takes a breaking ball low. The count is 1-1. First pitch was a strike inside on the hands. I think that's the first time in a while we've seen a first pitch inside to Manny Sufrain. Usually everybody works him down and away.
Especially with that left field or that right field porch.
Sufrain, big swing, fouls it straight back 1-2. And if you're Burrows, the most important thing is getting out of this inning. Don't throw a ton of pitches. Don't give up any more runs. Just try and stabilize. Here's the 1-2, way outside, 2-2. Sufrain walked, got an RBI for it because Chum scored from third. The bases were loaded and came around to score himself in the first. That one's hit high in the air to left field, but almost straight at Burrows, who makes the catch to end the inning. 1-2-3 go the Wildcats. We go to the bottom of the we go to the top of the third. It's 7-0 BCU as we head to the third here on the CatEye Network and 1380 WELE. We go to the third inning of play. It's Bethune-Cookman 7, Prairie View A&M nothing. First game of the SWAC tournament. Thank you for joining us here on Wednesday morning, wherever you are joining us from, be it on YouTube or 1380 WELE Daytona Beach. Derek Lathan Jr., the catcher for the Panthers, stands in to face Tanner Bocabello. First pitch, a foul straight back. And if the netting...
Up this morning?
No.
No, they do not.
That was my big fear, right? Is that we wouldn't be up for it. Early start, late night last night with the awards banquet. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, the fastball missed to Lathan, 1-1. Lathan is a 156 hitter, lowest on the team. The rate on base percentage, 420 for Davila. And this one's, again, hit off the end of the bat, foul first base side over the stands. And the count is 0-2. So that's two fastballs outside to the righty hitter, Davila, in a row that both been fouled off. Let's see what Bocabello goes for here. Does he go for off speed? Does he try to come inside on him? We'll find out. Here's the 0-2 pitch. He goes fastball, outside corner again. Davila doesn't offer at it. It's ball one. Interesting pitch mix or lack of in this at-bat from Bocabello. Three of the exact same pitches, though. 1-2, again off the end of the bat. That time it was a slider, though, that tailed away into the opposite batter's box, and Davila barely got the end of the bat on it. Prairie View A&M 6-0 in neutral site games this season. As that one hit Davila in the shoulder. So you can see the idea is Bocabello goes outside, then tries to go back inside, just missed it. And it's another base runner aboard for Prairie View A&M.
Yeah, Bocabello is rare to miss a spot. I mean, that's one of the best things. He doesn't have the stuff that maybe we've seen from some of the top-end starters in years past to get those consistent strikeouts, but he just doesn't miss spots. And so when it happens, sometimes you'll see him leak a couple of walks, but he's just been so consistent on the year doing that.
Back to the top of the order for Prairie View for the first time. Michael Smith struck out his first time up to open the ball game. Breaking ball, misses low, ball one. That's a 12-6 curve from Bocabello. There's 6 neutral site wins. 3 of them at the Cactus Jack HBCU Classic as they spin it a throwback to first, sliding back in safely, Davila. They beat Grambling State, Texas Southern, and Alcorn State at Minute Maid Park, home of the Houston Astros. Then they played the Andre Dawson Classic down in Vero Beach. 1-0. High pop, and that'll once again go foul first base side. So Prairie View A&M just a little bit late on a lot of these Bocabello fastballs. Can't quite catch up to him. They're pushing him foul.
I think they're just trying to do a little bit too much, so you're kind of sitting back on pitches that you otherwise maybe in a normal AB throughout the season, regular season, when the pressure's not on quite as much. You're being a little more aggressive, attacking, sitting back, just trying to not do the wrong thing.
Bocabello's 1-1 is going to be a throwback to first. Davila stays there. Davila, a big base stealer, 16 steals on 18 attempts this season for the 9-hole hitter from Prairie View. The other neutral site tournament that Prairie View played, as there's a ball in the dirt from Bocabello, 2-1, was at the Andre Dawson Classic down in Vero Beach. They beat North Carolina A&T and then 2 impressive wins against Florida A&M and Alabama State out of the East. Bocabello behind on the count to Smith, 2-1. As we're going to get a pitch clock refresh. Somebody called for time. I think it was Smith in the batter's box. Now he'll stand back in. Righty to righty, the 2-1. High fly ball, foul, into the Prairie View dugout, first base side. Again, Prairie View just a little bit late on these fastballs, but if they can time them up and barrel them up, that one went a long way. Probably had home run distance, just not home run accuracy.
And Prairie View doesn't hit a ton of home runs as a team, you know, outside of maybe a few guys at the top of the lineup. There's not a whole lot of guys in this league that have opposite field power enough, even with the short porch, to get it out 350. That ball might have had a chance if it was stuck inside that line.
The wall curves into 334 down the line. There's a 2-2, and it's hit the opposite way, foul again, and it's 2-2.
There was one guy who could probably power one out. This would be it.
Michael Smith, another freshman in this league, that just come in this year and mash the ball. We saw it with Juan Cruz at Alabama State last weekend. Once again, the 2-2 from Bocabello to Smith. Breaking ball, foul again, first base side. 4 pitches in a row.
And, every time you get an AB like this at any level of baseball, guys continue to foul it off, foul it off, foul it off. It almost always seems like it does end up in the favor of the batter. He could just get a little bit out in front of that. That could be a base hit anywhere in this ballpark.
We'll do the 2-2 for the third straight time. Inside, ball 3. Runner goes down to second. The throw from Escobar is high, corralled by Cordova, but a stolen base for Davila. So a runner on second with 1 down here in the third. 7-0 Bethune-Cookman. Smith, a freshman from Pensacola, Florida, will call time. Now stand back into the box. Grip the handle on his neon blue bat. And look at the 3-2 from Bocabello. Ground ball, fair. Third base side down the line, all the way to the corner. That's going to put the Panthers on the board. Scoring from second is Davila. Moving into second to replace him is Michael Smith.
And there's that pressure we knew that Prairie View A&M was going to bring at the plate. Again, fouling off all these pitches. Finally, Michael Smith's able to get out in front of that one. Almost a little too out in front of it. Sneaks it just inside that left field line. And Prairie View's got a bit of life. Can't let it go on too long. They're really going to start to get the momentum back in their favor, get them back in this game. Just 1 out in this inning. Got to try to put the hammer down and continue to put that pressure on.
Here's Garrison Weiss. Grounded out to Colton Olison his first time up. First pitch, breaking ball hit towards short. Cordova will field and fire, and there's 2 away. Lots of action for Ramses Cordova over there at short the first 3 innings. Michael Smith does move across to third.
Another swing early in the count for Prairie View. I think you'll see more and more of that when they have guys in scoring position, guys on base, just maybe trying to force the issue a little bit.
Michael Burrows, the big threat in this order, comes up now, batting .367, struck out looking to end the top of the first. And he's got a runner on third with 2 down. 7-1 BCU here in the third. Breaking ball strike from Tanner Bocabello. Now he is well and truly into that mix. Burrows .367, the batting average. Bocabello, the 0-1. Fastball at the knees. And that's a great 2-pitch little changeup right there. From maybe a low 80s breaking ball to a fastball that's touching the 90s. And Bocabello's ahead 0-2. Catcher sets up outside. Tanner spikes it to the plate, and a great job by Escobar as he comes up a little gimpy. That one might have caught him inside the thigh above the knee pad.
Tell you what, Tanner Bocabello didn't look like it yesterday either, taking bullpen session. Doesn't look physically limited in any way out there. He's been able to do just about anything he wants.
The 1-2. Tap back to the screen, count holds. If the Wildcats hang on to this one, and it's only the third inning, long way to go, they would play the winner of Jackson State and Texas Southern at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. That one in the dirt again from Bocabello, and now from an 0-2 count, it's back to 2-2 against Burrows.
Putting guys away is such a valuable skill, and it's so much harder than it looks. Not a great real put away pitch from Tanner Bocabello that he's consistently gone to. He's had to mix it up.
That one off the end of the bat, foul again. Count holds 2-2. He's tried to go to that breaking ball outside of the righties, and it's just consistently been fouled away.
Their defensive swings have really been excellent. They've been able to, they haven't always been pretty. I mean, they're very much defensive swings, just throwing the bat out there, trying to get a piece of it. But if you can stay alive long enough, eventually you're going to get a pitch to hit.
Once again, the 2-2 with 2 outs. Fastball inside corner, ball 3. Once again, Michael Smith is on third after his RBI double scored Davila, who was hit by a pitch. The Wildcats lead at 7-1 here in the top of the third. Bocabello, ground ball, softly hit, foul outside of first, and the at-bat continues. And I mentioned at the beginning of the inning off camera, Bryce, that Bocabello, 31 pitches through 2 innings, is a bit inflated. He's now up to 50.
He's been probably the most efficient guy on this staff. But when you're able to foul off pitches, Wildcat bats can learn a lot from it. You're able to just stay alive in ABs, just make it 1 or 2 pitch longer per guy that takes the plate. Those pitch counts can stack up pretty quickly.
Full count delivery on the way from Bocabello. And he got him looking again. Strike 3 called. Slider outside corner, and Tanner ends the frame. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the third. Wildcats trying to extend their 7-1 lead here on the CatEye Network Radio and 1380 W. Bottom of the third here in Atlanta. Wildcats lead at 7-1. First pitch a strike from Burrows to Irvin Escobar, who singled on the infield to the right-hand side. His first time ended up scoring. Fouls went back to the screen quickly behind 0-2 against Breeden. Correction, who's on the mound, not Burrows. Burrows is in left field. Escobar ended up coming home on the 3-run home run by Ramses Cordova. Breaking ball popped up on the infield, moving in the shortstop Davila near the infield grass makes the catch. And there's 1 away, so now 5 straight Wildcats across the inning break have gone down in a row, and here's Jorge Gonzalez-Febo.
And another quick AB, just 3 pitches there. You don't think that the getting to the bullpen job is never done. I mean, Coach Hernandez has told us that many times. You want to just continue to work those ABs. Again, 1 or 2 pitches more in an at-bat is more than well enough.
Fabo watches one bounce to the plate from Breeden, and as I mentioned, Elijah Breeden is statistically their best pitcher, better than any of the starters out of the bullpen with a 5.14 ERA. As there's a strike, 1-1 the count. Full line on Breeden, 61 and a third innings pitched, as Fabo chops it foul at home plate. He's behind 1-2. He's 3-2, 24 appearances with 1 start. He's allowed 44 runs on 78 hits, 35 earned, striking out 49, walking just 16, as that one's in the dirt, 2-2. He's allowed 13 doubles, 2 triples, 6 homers, and it has an opposing batting average of .310. Fabo watches one up and out. Count should be 3-1, although the board only says 2-1. Anyway, here's the pitch. It's spiked to the ground, and that's ball 4. So a walk from Fabo gives the Wildcats a 1-out base runner.
2 good at-bats from Gonzalez-Febo. Like we said, being able to lay off those pitches. I mean, it seems easy enough, especially on the outside half of the zone. Some of them are not super competitive, but that's not something we've seen consistently from Fabo, especially early on in the year. His maturity of a hitter is an ongoing process, but there are steps being taken.
Here's Ramses Cordova, who hit the 3-run homer back in the first to left field. He watches a first pitch fastball strike at the knees. And the very few times this year has a home run that the Wildcats have hit been a no-doubter. That was an absolute no-doubter. 0-1 from Breeden. Breaking ball misses outside, 1-1.
And, going back and looking at that AB again, watching the replay from the SWAC, that ball was up near the shoulder blades. To be able to get under that ball, give it that much power is really tough.
Ball low, 2-1. And we know Cordova has that kind of power. It was his 4th home run of the season. All of them to left field, whether that be at the Jack or now here.
It's easy to take a hanger down the middle or a ball low in the zone, uppercut it out. That one is tough.
That one's hit high in the air, center field and deep. Going back, Weiss, track, wall, adios, amigos. He's done it again. Ramses Cordova. Are you kidding me? Wow. To the deepest part of the park in right center, to the batter's eye. And it is 9-1 Bethune-Cookman.
Every bit of 400 feet. These guys playing Jackie Robinson Ballpark every game at home, and it's tough looking out at that wall. Seems like a mile away. It's tough to hit one out. Ramses Cordova showing why he deserves to have that shortstop spot for this tournament. That's the kind of power from this Wildcats team that we haven't seen in years. I mean, to be able to put it together on back-to-back ABs like that, incredible.
There's a first pitch breaking ball strike to Colton Olson, singled up the middle his first time up, and was caught out on the base paths and a fielder's choice. So the count is 0-1 to him. Pitch, breaking ball low. 1-1. Yeah, and that ball would have been out at the jack. There's no doubt. But we talk all of the time about it's not just that the dimensions are deep at Jackie Robinson. Here's the 1-1. Olson fouls it back 1-2. It's that the wind often plays a factor as well, blowing in off the ocean straight in from center or sometimes in from left. And it's hard to power one through that as Olson fouls one off straight back again. Count holds 1-2. Here, there is no wind at all. It is very still this morning here in Atlanta. Very humid, kind of oppressively hot. Olson lifts it in the air, left field. That one's not going to go very far. Burrows camps under it, actually near the track, and makes the catch. That traveled a bit further than I thought it was going to do, but there's still 2 down.
Just really from both sides, but obviously a bit more with that 9-1 lead from the Wildcats. Just everything that's been hit for the most part has been hit hard. And even though that looks the part of a weak fly ball, Colton Olson got that one, a good 20 feet from the wall. He put a little bit of a charge into that ball. Not a guy with a ton of power, but.
And back to the top of the order, Daniel Figueroa reached on a fielder's choice and struck out in the first as the Wildcats batted around. He takes a slider strike in on the hands, and the count is 0-1. Quickly into his motion is Breed, and that's a ground ball up the middle. Sliding stop by Davila at short. He throws. Not there! The throw was wide and pulled Jonas off the base, and Figueroa is on.
And that right there is a great example of just making sure that you're leaving no doubt and you're putting in that little extra bit of effort. Figueroa came in hitless so far in the day and hustles that one out, and he's hustled out every single one. Even the pitch a couple ABs ago where he struck out, hustling down the line when he thought it might have been a drop third strike, and right there he's rewarded with a hit.
They called that a single. I'll agree in my book, but not in my head. I think that should have been an error on the shortstop.
It was a tough play. I mean, I think it's that hustle that gives you that single call, really.
The batter is Garrett Shun, and the count is 1-1. First pitch was low, second pitch was fouled into the Wildcat dugout down the third base side. Of course, the Wildcats in their all blue, powder blue alternates today. They've loved to wear those Friday nights. This is technically your Friday night, quote unquote, here on this Wednesday morning. 1-1. Breaking ball misses low in the dirt. Nice job from Lathan behind the plate to keep it in front of him. We were musing before the game. Lathan's batting average not really where it needs to be. And I said he's probably their best defensive catcher, and I think we've seen it for the first couple innings. 2-1 the count, and a spin and a throwback to first, sliding in safely, is Figueroa. And a tough play over at first on that last one for Jonas as well, because he got pulled well off the base by that throw. 2-1. Figueroa, ground ball through the hole on the first base side and into right field for a base hit. Going from first to third and coming home with a head of steam is Figueroa. He will score as the catcher dropped the ball. Well, how do you like that? Daniel Figueroa on a soft ground ball to the first base side goes from first all the way to home, and it's 10-1 Wildcats.
I think it's fair to say that was a little bit of an ill-advised play right there. I mean, the way that Figueroa was running, it certainly looked like, oh, wow, he's really going to do this. Waved home from Coach Hernandez. I think that's just really that aggression, that, blood in the water, step on their throats kind of play, forcing them to make the defensive play, as routine as it may seem, and now you look and you're up 10-1.
Another meeting on the mound as Breeden started strongly, got the first 5 Wildcats he faced out in order, and then walk, home run, fly out, single. There's 3 runs right there, and it's 10-1.
Yeah, we know how quickly that things can turn on a dime, and that goes just as much for Bethune-Cookman pitching and defense as it does for anybody else. All it takes is 1 or 2 really quality at-bats. We kind of started to see it a little bit with Bocabello in the top half of this inning, where guys are putting foul balls out into the bleachers, into the stands, and are able to just prolong at-bats, turn them into hits, and just being out there for a little bit, the fatigue inning to inning, it can turn, and you don't want to have to go to the bullpen again if you're Prairie View, but you got to try to keep it as close as possible just because we know how hard it is to come out of that loser's bracket.
There was a quick meeting on the mound. Breeden is going to stay in there. A big cut and miss from Sergio Rivera. He was hit by a pitch and scored in the first and popped out on the infield to the first base side in the second. That one was, again, up by his shoulders, and he just hacked at it. Behind to the count 0-1. Garrett Chun is on second. With 1 down in the inning, Rivera squared to bunt. The ball was in the dirt, and the count is 1-1. Chun went to second on the throw home from right field, so he's going to be counted as a single and an advancement there. Righty to righty, Breeden to Rivera. Here's the pitch. Way outside again. And you can tell Breeden is feeling it a little bit. Only up to 35 pitches. He is a long reliever. He's used to going long out of the bullpen, but I mentioned it's very hot. It's very humid today. 2-1. Popped sky high. Foul territory, first base side, out of play, into the seats. Jonas gave it a good run towards the net, but ran out of room. But that'll sap your energy, that still, humid, sticky weather.
And speaking of sapping your energy, I mean, as small as a play as it seems, just trying to leg out that run for Figueroa, that's the kind of play that just demoralizes guys, even more so maybe than a home run at times. It's just, man, nothing is going to break our way. You're seeing the body language across this Prairie View team. A lot of shoulders slumped. Guys are slow moving between pitches, not, kind of hop into spots like they might normally do. It's going to be a tough hill to climb.
The count is full on Rivera after a ball in the dirt, spinning a throw back to second, caught in no man's land is Garrett Chun, and he's out to end the inning. Well, that's kind of unfortunate. Wildcats leave one on the base, not technically one on the base paths, but leave one out there in the ether. But still, 3 runs, 3 hits, nobody left, and we go to the top of the 4th. It's 10-1 Wildcats as we go to the 4th here on CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE. Top 4 here on the campus of Georgia Tech. The Wildcats add 3 more in the bottom of the 3rd, take a 10-1 lead over the Prairie View A&M Panthers. Marshall Jonas stands in to face Tanner Bocabello. Breaking ball in the air, shallow center. That's going to drop in front of Figueroa for a base hit. Long turn at first for Jonas, but he'll stay there. And the first no-out runner of the game for Prairie.
And it's the recipe for getting back into this game. You got to make sure you're not overly aggressive, but you got to put good swings on the ball and just move guys up. Can't take it all back in one swing. This Prairie View team has really lived all year on just being able to continually put rallies together.
So now Jonas aboard. Here's Tyron Norris. First pitch, swinging a foul back to the screen. Norris lined out to Cordova at short. Tremendous diving stop by Ramses Cordova back in the 2nd inning. And a ball that looked destined for the gap. And again, Prairie View, as you said, are just going to swing away and keep at it. The 0-1. Well, not going to swing at that one. Inside 1-1.
And if you're Prairie View, at what point does your approach switch, particularly the way you manage your bullpen? How many runs have to be put on the board before maybe you're putting your premier guys back in? Or are you going full, like, our best bullpen arms throughout the day?
Ground ball, foul, third base side, and it's 1-2. That was a breaking ball from Vocabello that Norris was way in front of. This is the first of 4 games here at McNeese Baseball Park. Today, day 1 of the SWAC tournament. All 8 teams that qualified are in action. Vocabello's 1-2. Swinging a chopper towards third. Charging Fabo. He goes to second and throws the ball. Oh, he got it! Wow! Colton Olson hung on to that rocket shot towards second and somehow stepped on the base for a fielder's choice.
And I think we're going to see our first challenge of the game after that one. I'm not sure if Olson got his foot down on the base first or if he threw his glove down and applied the tag first to come up with that out. Either way, a really athletic play. Not really often you're thinking of the guy catching the ball, especially at second, being the one to put the defense down like that, but Olson just springing on it.
We are going to see our first replay challenge of the game. Well, they haven't gone to the monitors yet. Coach Hernandez out there arguing.
And looking at the replay.
And now they're going to go to the monitor, or the umpires.
Looking at the replay on the SWAC's stream, it is very much the tag that's applied and not the base. Olson gets his foot down first, but it's not on the bag. Tries to throw his glove down and get the tag. It's really close.
It is really close. And you may think it might be close enough that the on-field call is going to stand, but you don't know. Again, tremendous play from Colton Olson. That was a wild throw by Fabo at third, trying to go as quick as possible, turn the double play. Olson full stretch with the glove on his left hand. Those runners sliding towards him at the base. This angle that we've got right here is going to get us a better look at it. And he looks like he's safe.
It looks like he's safe. Looks like he got that right toe into the bag before the tag could be applied. Credit to Olson for, he had to leap just to corral that ball. Not the best throw over there. But not only is he able to keep that from resulting in a run or at the very least an extra base or two, but giving it a good run to be able to make it this close of a play. I still necessarily wouldn't be surprised if they go with, the ruling on the field stand just because it's so close. But it does, you can make the case pretty easily that it's a safe batter right there.
Yeah, but we talked about it, Bryce. This Prairie View team is not going to go away. They're down by 9, but they've got 2 on, nobody out now. If this call is overturned and the runner is safe at second, the Wildcats cannot go to sleep, especially Tanner Vocabello on the mound. He's got to continue to try and hit those corners, continue to get guys to hit soft contact and strike out, and try and churn through this order and maybe even get out of here early.
The SWAC is such a grindy conference, top to bottom, but I really think you see it out west. Teams like Prairie View, teams like Texas Southern and Southern are teams that are super athletic up and down the line. It gives guys chance to make hustle plays that can keep you in games when otherwise just free swinging away doesn't do that job. And so they're going to...
Now, that angle looks like he's out. They just showed it from a third angle down the third baseline. It looks like Olson got him on the back before the lead leg hit the base. I hope they show that angle again. We can go back
the power
and
of rewind.
Right there, it looks like he's out.
Oh, yeah.
So now here come the umpires out from the dugout, and he's out. That third angle was the difference because from straight on, it looked like he was safe. But you go to the back angle, and Olson definitely gets him on the back before that foot hits the base. So a huge call there for the Wildcats is now there's only 1 on, 1 out instead of 2 on, nobody out.
Definitely give credit to the SWAC camera crew there. Great shot of that one. Made it pretty easy once they found that third angle. And really, just an outstanding job by Colton Olson. So athletic. Doesn't necessarily have the gift of height, but doesn't need it as a second baseman because he leaps for that one.
I'm giving Olson another exclamation point. That's 2 for him this game.
It's a game full of exclamation points, I think.
First pitch to Trenton Bush is a slider that's fouled away. Bush walked his first time up, was stranded on first. That was back in the second. If you're just joining us, welcome. This is BCU Baseball on CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE Daytona Beach. There's the 0-1 pitch to Trenton Bush. It is line foul, first base side out of play, and it's 0-2. My name is Michael Trevello. Happy to have your company. Bryce Wynowski joining me today and all throughout this SWAC tournament. However far the Wildcats make it, we'll be here bringing you all the coverage from Russ Chandler Stadium in Atlanta. Count is 0-2 on Bush. Wildcats trying to maintain this 10-1 advantage. I mean, if you are just joining us, you've missed a heck of a first 3 innings. The 0-2 is a breaking ball, slider ball outside. Didn't miss by much, and it's 1-2.
And it'll be interesting to see if the Wildcats can hold on to this game. The mentality switch from what we saw a year ago, coming in, getting knocked around a little bit in your first game and having to claw back, whereas now you're playing with a little bit of swagger.
1-2. Runner goes. In on the hands the ball. The throw down to second, and it's another stolen base. Tyler Norris goes in there, and now there's a runner on second with one down. That takes the double play away. The count is 2-2 on Trenton Bush. And every time we've seen Bocabello change up to try and go inside on the hands with some of these pitches, he's missing too far inside. He can't catch that inside corner. Now he's got a 2-2 count to Bush. And he deals. Swing and a foul straight at home plate. And again, another long at-bat for Prairie View A&M. It's only the top of the fourth, but Tanner Bocabello already at 63 pitches, and you wonder if maybe a Dylan Vega or someone like that is maybe thinking about getting stretched and warmed up.
Because now you start to play the long game. Think about tomorrow, next day, the day after that.
2-2. Fouled away. Count holds 2-2. We've seen these really long at-bats, especially by Michael Smith in the third before he hit that RBI double down the third base line. He must have fouled off 6 pitches from Tanner Bocabello.
And if you're a head coach, it's a great way to keep your team in the game, a great recipe for getting back into games. Again, just get into the bullpen.
Again, the 2-2. Ground ball to third, fielded by Fabo. He'll just take the simple play across the diamond for out number 2. And he did a good job not rushing it. He looked back the runner to second and then made the easy play.
Defensively is where Gonzalez Fabo has really shined over this second half of this year. I know I've mentioned it a lot, but for a freshman to look as composed as he has in the field, despite things not going always well at the plate, is a credit to him.
And he's played everywhere. He's played third base, center field, right field. He played first base one game early in the year.
Yeah, that athleticism showing itself all over the field, no doubt about it.
Batter is Lee Allen. Well, on 2 outs, it's in the air. Weak contact and a catch on the move by Rivera out in right field. I thought for a second that was going to die in front of him, but Sergio, he's fast enough. He makes the play, and the Panthers are kept off the board. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left, and we go to the bottom of the fourth. Wildcats up 10-1 here on CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE. Sergio Rivera was in the batter's box in the bottom of the third when Garrett Chun was picked off at second base, so he will start with a fresh count against Elijah Breeden. The first pitch way ahead of a slider, and it's 0-1. Wildcats up 10-1 here, opening game of the tournament against the Prairie View A&M Panthers. Rivera squares to bunt, trying to leg one out, and he just bunts it foul down the third baseline, and now he's quickly behind 0-2. Rivera was hit by a pitch and scored in the first, popped out lazily to the second baseman, Allen, in the second. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Off the end of the bat, sky high, right field shallow. Smith drops his hat, makes the catch, and there's one down. Interesting move by Smith out there to kind of throw his hat off. The sun is almost straight overhead here at about 10:30 in the morning. Wonder if it was encumbering him a little bit. Jose Gonzalez now swings and chops one foul off his foot. The Wildcats, yes, they've been successful. They have the 10 runs on 8 hits, obviously. But it kind of has felt, since Elijah Breeden has come in the game, like they've been trying to do too much and not just stick to what they've known offensively. That one's a high chopper towards third, fielded by Bush, crossed the diamond in time for out number 2.
Playing on natural grass here as opposed to the turf. If that ball was hit at the jack, that might have bounced all the way over the infield and out into in front of the left fielder out there. But a little bit of a change of pace here. I don't remember, Mike, if when we were here last year, if it was turf behind home plate
Yes,
like we see
it was.
today.
It's the section behind home plate is turf, but not the warning track. The warning track is dirt. First pitch low to Manny Soufrain. Soufrain had an RBI walk in the first and then flew out to left field in the second. Pitch, low ball too. Yeah, so the field here is mostly your traditional grass and dirt field. Grass on the infield, surrounded by the dirt base paths, and a dirt outfield with a dirt warning track all the way around. Here's the 2-0 strike outside corner on the fastball, 2-1. But specifically for the area behind home plate to about halfway to the dugouts on each side is turf. Pop foul by Soufrain, out of play, count 2-2. And it has the SWAC logo on it. So I wonder if they have different turfs for when, like, Georgia Tech plays here, they have their logo, or for any other tournaments they host here, they can put logos on it. Here's the 2-2. Check swing, it's low. Soufrain did not go, and it's 3-2. It's just an interesting factoid about this stadium that I don't really have seen anywhere else.
It's just very different than what we're used to at the Jack, for sure.
Full count delivery is fouled away to the left-hand side. Soufrain not really hunting that short porch in right field. He's been trying to take things the other way.
One of the few guys who might have the power to go opposite field and hit it over that wall. It is just 329 all the way down the line.
The full count delivery is upstairs at the letters, ball 4. Second walk of the game for Soufrain, and he's aboard with 2 outs. How many walks is that on the year from Manny Soufrain, though?
51.
My goodness.
11 more than the next closest guy. That's Garrett Shawn. That's when you talk about the modern baseball player, 3 true outcome guy. Manny Soufrain is every bit of that, but he really works some outstanding walks. He can get from behind in the count, but if he gets in the head of count is when he's really deadly.
Irvin Escobar stands in now, singled to the right-hand side his first time up. And that one's a breaking ball over his head, completely missing his spot as Breeden. He singled and scored his first time up. He came in on the Cordova 3-run home run. Then popped up on the infield to the shortstop in the third. He's got Soufrain on first with 2 outs here in this inning. Pitch outside, 2-0. As Breeden has gotten less and less consistent as this outing has gone on. 2-0. That one right down the middle, 2-1. But when Breeden is missing, he started missing close and getting some swings and misses. Now he's just missing way off the plate. You saw Irvin almost get hit in the head a couple pitches ago if he didn't jump out of the way. 2-1. That one's lasered back up the middle into center field, a base hit. Crashing in to get it is Weiss. He'll throw in to keep Soufrain at second, but the inning continues with 2 outs.
And it's those kind of base hits, a couple of them already for Escobar on the day, that were why he was so dangerous in this very ballpark a year ago. It wasn't doing anything too crazy. I mean, he hit some little balls that would just leak over the infield and then roll out into the gaps, balls right up the middle, just barreling things up, not trying to do too much, and he was been rewarded.
Here's Fabo, single to center in the first, walked in the third, and came around to score both times on the 2 home runs by Ramses Cordova. So Fabo has been rewarded for being patient at the plate, taking what the pitcher gives him, and then every time he's gotten on base, Cordova's hovering him in. Here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball strike. Count is 1-1. Breeden trying to lean more on that slider that tails away to righties into the outside batter's box. Got the call that time. Working quickly the 1-1. Slider again, that time low, and it's 2-1. And this is someone in Gonzalez Fable that if the Wildcats can maintain his services over the offseason as the 2-1 pitch, after a wait from Breeden, is hammered to left center. That one's going back toward the track, towards that short porch, and it's gone! Adios, amigos! Jorge Gonzalez Febo, his third home run of the year, his first home run since week 1 of the season, and it's 12-1 Bethune-Cookman.
You know, Mike, the Wildcats come into this SWAC tournament with just 16 home runs on the year. And, you know, watching road broadcasts throughout the year, it seems like every broadcaster always looks down at that number and is always pretty shocked with just how low the power numbers are for this Wildcats team. They've never been a team under the tenure of Coach Hernandez that's relied on the long ball. But if they've unlocked something in this team, in this ballpark, that is very much a capable ballpark for batters like that, there's nobody stopping them.
This is unbelievable. I've never seen a Wildcats team put this much power in a game. The batter is Ramses Cordova, who already has 2 home runs on the game, by the way. One, a line drive that crept over the wall in left field. Count 1-1, pitch low, 2-1. And then one, an absolute moonshot halfway up the batter's eye in dead center. And he's gotten hold of one. This time it's high. Trailing back towards the track in left field is Burrows, and he will get under it to make the catch to end the inning. But we talk about the Wildcats not getting off the field with 2 outs. The Wildcats punish a 2-out walk to Manny Sufrain with a single by Escobar and a 3-run home run by Jorge Gonzalez Febo to take a 13-1 lead as we go to the 5th here in Atlanta. This is Bethune-Cookman University Baseball on the CatEye Network and 1380 WELE. We have our first lineup change of the day. Prairie View A&M takes out catcher Derek Lathan Jr. and replaces him with catcher Mason Heiskell. He's a right-hander against Tanner Bocabello. First pitch to him inside, ball 1 with the fastball. He will catch and bat in the 8th spot, Heiskell. Lathan only got 1 AB, and he grounded out to short. And that one's a laser. Line drive, right field base hit. A throw From right field, Rivera is late, and it's a single for Heiskill.
It's kind of crazy to look at the stat sheet or out at the video board and see that that's just the third hit for Prairie View, and they've only walked once. And yet it seems like they've always just kind of been hanging around. I mean, I only know we're in the top of the fifth, but they're still lurking a little bit. They certainly haven't quit on the offensive side of the ball. They just quite haven't been able to get into any like they've wanted to.
Here's Isaac Davila, hits a fly ball towards right field. Moving under it, Rivera, he makes the catch, having to track all the way back to first. His Heiskill, it was a hit and run. He was almost around second base when that ball was caught.
Just kind of a protection swing from Davila, but it's the one thing you can't do with it, that weak pop-up, and nothing good comes of it.
Back to the top of the order, here's Michael Smith. Mason Heiskill, who's standing on first, is a 245 hitter. I mentioned earlier in the broadcast that this Prairie View A&M team kind of rotates between three different catchers. So now the second one is in the game in Heiskill. First pitch to Smith. Runner goes. Skip to the plate. Another really kind of poor throw down to second for Urban Escobar that bounced twice before Olison got it. Another steal. Third of the game for Prairie View A&M.
Might just be a little too jumpy behind the plate. I'd certainly rather be bounced to second than airmailed, so we've made a little bit of progress since the last time through.
Count 1-0 on Michael Smith. There's a breaking ball at the knees. Strike 1-1. Smith has the lone RBI in the game for Prairie View. Struck out in the first, hit an RBI double down the left field line that scored Isaac Davila in the third. He fouls one straight back in off the hands, and it's 1-2. Tanner Bocabello currently at 74 pitches through 4 1/3. And we have Yoancel Diaz warming up in the bullpen as the Wildcats are up 13-1. Pitch. Off the hands, fly ball right field. Rivera makes the grab and a great throw in to keep Heiskill at second. He looked like he wanted to go to third, and everything's coming Rivera's way this inning.
Yeah, you got to be careful not to push the issue too much if you're Prairie View. You just can't afford to give up outs being over-aggressive when you've got so much hill to climb.
And we've seen Rivera gun runners down at third base from his right field spot. He has got an arm on him.
This whole Wildcats outfield so athletic, and again, cannon arms.
Here's Garrison Weiss. 2 ground outs for him. 1 to second, 1 to short. First pitch inside, ball 1 to Weiss. Garrison, a .310 hitter on the year. 2 down runner at second for Prairie View in the inning. There's a fastball strike at the knees. The man on second is the pinch hitter Mason Heiskill, who pinch hit for the catcher Derek Lathan, and we assume is going to take over behind the plate. Off the end of the bat, a little dribbler up the middle. Olison sliding, and he throws to first, and he got him! What a play by Colton Olison! Crosses body with the glove from his knees from behind second base, and they're going to challenge it. Everybody's going to come back on the top, back onto the field. I thought they couldn't challenge because they failed to challenge already. Is that not how that works?
I feel like you get a couple of challenges. I also don't think that one was that close. It didn't look from up here. We talked about it a little bit between breaks. Challenges in this tournament are very much coaches playing with a new toy that they're not used to throughout the season, so maybe a little quicker to challenge. Yeah, I don't think
that's actually closer than I thought it was on first glance. Maybe the thing is maybe his foot was off the base. You can't really tell from the angle right behind first base that his foot was off.
Well, there you tell from that one either because Manny Sufrane's foot's in the way.
Sufrane might be off the bag. We don't know, but we can't tell from the angles we've been shown. I think that third base angle again might be the best one we've got. As Olison, a tremendous job to slide into the grass behind second. I think he's actually safe.
I don't know. In real time, he looks out. I think when you slow it down, it's a little bit closer, but just in the bang in the moment, I think it's another one that, unless we unearth some new angle here, I think it may just stand because of the call that was made on the field.
Yep. We are watching the replay now. It is very close. It looks like it's a tie, and the tie would go to the runner in that situation.
Because the one angle from the first base side we can't see the ball in the glove because Manny Sufrain is in the way of the ball. From the other angle, we can't see the foot on the bag because Manny Sufrain is in the way of the bag.
Yeah.
So you don't get a clear one on either side. So I feel like they'll probably just have to let this one stand, although nothing would really surprise me in this tournament.
Yeah. We are under review for a play at first. Colton Olison fielded a ground ball up the middle, sliding into the outfield grass, then from his knees appeared to throw out Garrison Weiss, who was trying to leg it out. Prairie View A&M challenged it, and we are currently under review. From the review angles that we have seen, it looks like a bang-bang play. Maybe tie goes to the runner type situation, but we will see what the umpires decide. They are in their little room behind the home plate dugout on the third base side looking at all the replay angles. The replay coordinator is actually in the room right next to us to our left.
We'll also try to, between games today, for our knowledge for the rest of this tournament, try to confirm what exactly the rules are, how many challenges we get.
He's out at first and the inning is over. So the Wildcats have won 2 challenges in a row. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 left for Prairie View in the 5th. We go to the bottom of the inning and it is 13-1 Bethune-Cookman over Prairie View here on CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE. There will be a new pitcher for Prairie View A&M as we hit the 5th inning of play. It is DeMarcus Thompson, the freshman from Katy, Texas, and Sealy High School. The line on Thompson is as follows. He's only appeared 6 times, 3 2/3 innings pitched with a 22 ERA. And Bryce, we have officially gotten to the back of the bullpen here in game number 1.
And don't let it slow you down at the plate. Continue to stay disciplined. Continue to take those balls, foul off pitches, and do the same thing that you've done all afternoon long.
Colton Olison will lead off. He's a bit of a sidearm deliverer, Thompson. He's a right-hand pitcher. And he's ahead in the count 0-1 to Olison. That time he misses low 1-1. Olison on the game singled to center field his first time up, but then was out second baseman to shortstop on a fielder's choice. That was in the first, and that one skipped to the plate by Thompson, and it's 2-1. Then in the third, Olison flew out to left on a ball that carried a lot farther than I thought off the bat. Ended up being caught on the warning track. Thompson deals. Upstairs almost hit Olison, and it did hit Olison up in the shoulder. He's going to go to first.
Well, that's certainly not a reassuring sign from the new guy out of the pen. Again, we don't get to watch a ton of SWAC West baseball, so we don't necessarily know how the managers operate their choices for the bullpen game to game. But I'd have to imagine at this point, Prairie View is very much saving their premier arms for an elimination game, just trying to extend their stay here in Atlanta with this one out of reach. Again, that could change if the bats decide to wake up. But
1 on, nobody out. The batter is Daniel Figueroa as we go to the top of the order once again here in the bottom of the 5th. Thompson only played in 3 SWAC contests this year and 3 non-conference appearances. A breaking ball strike to Figueroa, 12-6 curve on the inside, 1-1. His longest outing of the season was an inning and 2/3 against New Mexico State where he gave up 8 runs on 7 hits. The 1-1 hit Figueroa in the back. 2 straight hit by pitches to start the appearance on the mound for DeMarcus Thompson, and there's 2 aboard with nobody out.
And we're going to see a visit from the pitching coach this time around. It's kind of, again, that short game versus playing that long game. If this were a 1-run game, we would probably see a move to the bullpen. Seeing as this is a 12-run game, you're going to have to let your guy work through it a little bit and hope that he can keep it somewhat within range, or if you've thrown your hands up and conceded this one, then just throw enough pitches to get you through it.
The assistant coach for Prairie View A&M, who's out there right now, is Anthony Macon, who may have the best nickname in the SWAC. Anthony Happy Macon. I'm not sure he's that happy right now.
I'm not thinking he's that happy right now, Mike. It's a tough conversation to have.
Played at Alabama State, did Macon, and was the head coach at Texas College and Lane College before coming to Prairie View A&M as an assistant in the same season that head coach Antoine Ruggins came to the program. So he's been there for 9 years now as this entire coaching staff. So it's a seasoned staff. They know what they're doing. Prairie View has gone deep in this tournament before, but they have just run into a buzzsaw that is the BCU offense today. Garrett Chun stands in, 2 on, nobody out. He squares to bunt, pulls it back, takes a ball outside, 1-0. Chun singled in the first and then came around to score. Flied out to left in the first again. That was the final out of that inning where the Wildcats batted around. Squares to bunt again to Chun. Pulls it back, ball outside, 2-1. And then he singled down the first base line, RBI that scored Figueroa from first, and that's it.
That's going to do it.
Wow. Well, no, it's not, because they haven't met the minimum pitch requirement for another mound visit. At least that's what I'm gathering for the umpires not allowing Antoine Riggins out onto the field.
Well, not a whole lot of argument for him, so I'm guessing you're correct. But I'm sure he'll stay right at the top of those dugout steps and getting ready to come back out in short order.
I think it is. You cannot have mound visits in the same at-bat. There's another square to bunt by Chun. Inside 3-0. And yes, 2 arms are throwing in that Prairie View A&M bullpen.
And if you're Thompson, it's certainly not a vote of confidence seeing your manager come out like that.
There's finally a strike from Thompson. The man in the bullpen is the senior Devin Aguado. That's the Prairie View A&M reliever set to come in probably after this batter, because Garrett Chun just walked 2 hit-by-pitches and a 5-pitch walk, and the bases are full of Wildcats with nobody out. And here comes Antoine Riggins.
Just everything that could go wrong for this Prairie View team to this point has gone wrong. And now you're forced to warm guys up, get more people moving than you probably want to, and just kind of lame duck play it out and sit there on your hands until tomorrow and wait for a chance at an elimination game. It's a really difficult spot to be in. But again, I think the body language is showing now across all of the field for Prairie View. Outfield guys in here on the mound visits, just hoping somebody can come in and figure it out. And we did mention at the beginning of the broadcast, Mike, that if Prairie View was going to win this game, it was going to have to be with the bats. So 13 runs against certainly isn't helping anything, but Prairie View was never going to win this game with 1 run on the board.
They have definitely won games this year with some obscene storylines. And the senior lefty, Devin Aguado, will come in to pitch and try and stabilize this. It's a tough situation for any pitcher. Bases loaded, nobody out. He's actually a graduate student from Sealy, Texas, and Coastal Bend Community College, Aguado. His numbers on the year are as follows, if I can find him on my stat sheet. He has got an ERA of 7.85, 15 appearances with 2 starts. But, crucially, he has the lowest whip on the team at 192. So he's been in this spot this year and has gotten them out of this spot.
And he's very much an example of what you mentioned earlier in the broadcast. This Prairie View team is one that lets up a lot of base runners. I think they were second in the SWAC in total base runners allowed. but they've done a decent enough job, at least enough to get them 18 wins in SWAC play, of minimizing the damage that's come with those base runners. They haven't walked a ton of guys, at least in terms of the way this conference tends to walk guys. And this guy on the mound is a shining example of what that approach looks like in a bend but don't break kind of defense.
Sergio Rivera is going to bat with the bases loaded and nobody out. Olison on third, Figueroa on second, Chun on first. And this is the first lefty pitcher the Wildcats have had to face today. Aguado's first pitch is a fastball up and away to the righty Rivera. Sergio 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch. Was hit by pitch and scored in the first, popped out on the infield in the second, and flew out to right in the fourth. As that one's a strike. Slider arcing through the zone, ending in on the hands to Rivera. Although anything on the outfield grass right now scores 1 and potentially 2. As Rivera is at an even count 1-1. Here's the pitch from Aguado. And that one's lined over the shortstop's head. Into the gap in left field, a base hit. Scoring from third, Olison. Here comes Figueroa. He'll also score. It's a 2-run double for Sergio Rivera. And the Wildcats extend their lead. It's 15-1.
And it's important for BCU to continue to put the bat on the ball because, as we've seen earlier in the season, I look back to the Alabama A&M series where the Wildcats came out and struck for 20 runs in the first game and then kind of went silent for the other two. You want to make sure that you're continuing to stay locked in at the plate and putting together those quality ABs so that you can see this success continue to the next game tomorrow. You don't want to get complacent and then lead it to getting cold when it matters tomorrow.
Jose Gonzalez at the plate now watches a fastball outside, ball 1. Gonzalez hit by a pitch and scored in the first and then is grounded out to the left side of the infield twice, once to short and once to third. So the Wildcats' top hitter by average looking for something today. He fouls one sky high. That might stay in the yard, third base side, and it will make the seats, but barely. Land in front of some of the BCU fans who've made the trip. I see our associate AD, Scott, down there. That almost hit him in the leg. Heads up, Scott.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday when we were at practice. The netting in this ballpark doesn't go all the way down the lines like it does in some places. So especially if you sit over in that section down there just in front of the home bullpen, you got to keep your head on a swivel.
Count 0-1 to Gonzalez. Here's the pitch from Aguado. Fastball strike outside corner. And it's 0-2. Gonzalez looking for his first hit of the ball game. So the Wildcats' statistically best hitter does not have a hit, and the Wildcats will still have 15 runs. That one in the dirt, 1-2. Garrett Chun being really aggressive at third, came a quarter of the way home as he thought that ball might have gotten by the catcher, who is now Mason Highskill behind the plate. 1-2 from Aguado. That one's hit well to left field. Going back Burrows near the track, he makes the catch. Tagging and coming home from third is Garrett Chun. He will score. It's an RBI for Jose Gonzalez, and the Wildcats have scored 16 runs.
That's a lot of runs.
That is indeed. It's tied for their second highest of the season, I believe. Tied with the main game.
It's the long ball that has taken the highlight of it, but it's just the consistent hard contact that has done the job. And guys have gotten on base, taken their walks, taken their hit by pitches, and done exactly what you need to do to succeed throughout this tournament.
Here's Manny Sufrain now with one down. He takes a breaking ball strike outside corner. Sufrain 0 for 1 with 2 walks and 2 runs scored. He's been around on home runs twice. Once by Ramses Cordova, once by Jorge Gonzalez Favo. And that one's in the dirt, 1-1. So while Sufrain hasn't really put the bat on the ball, it's been a very Manny Sufrain-esque performance today as he's crossed over 50 walks on the season. Here's a 1-1 from Aguado. That was a soft one, hit toward the second baseman. Allen charges bare hands and fires to first for out number 2. That will move Sergio Rivera from second to third.
Wildcats haven't had to really employ the small ball that we've seen so much from this year. When you're swinging the bat like this, you don't need it. But I still wouldn't be surprised, even late in this game, if we see some stolen bases. I don't think we'll see anybody bunted over.
That's kind of
borderline
against the
unwritten
code.
rules.
Yeah, don't bunt when you're up by 15 at this point. First pitch to Irvin Escobar, bounced to the plate. Great job by Highskill. to keep that one from going to the backstop. Although the backstop here, not the chasm that it is at the Jack. We've actually seen balls bounce off the brick backstop and come right back to the catcher. Escobar pops one up. Foul territory, first base side. It will go, right into the glove of Jonas. I thought that one was going to go over the netting, but he hangs by the dugout and makes the catch to end the inning. But 3 runs, 1 hit, 1 left. The Wildcats continue to pour it on. It is 16-1, and the Wildcats now in run rule range need only 6 outs to get out of here early. This is BCU Athletics on the CatEye Network and 1380 WBLE. We have a battery change for Bethune-Cookman as we head to the 6th inning. Wildcats up 16-1 here in Game 1 of the SWAC tournament against the Prairie View A&M Panthers, needing just 6 outs to run rule the Panthers and get out of here early. The new pitcher is Yoancel Diaz, and his first pitch is a fastball strike up and in to Michael Burrows, who struck out looking twice. The new catcher is Jorge Rodriguez. And the second pitch from Yo-Yo is that signature 12-6 curveball that misses inside. And it was not a terrific start for Tanner Bocabello, but first start back from injury, he did the job. As here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss at the fastball, 1-2.
Yeah, only threw 81 pitches, so not a super exhausting outing for Bocabello. Going 5 innings, allowing just 1 run. It was an earned run. 3 hits, walked only 1, struck out 3. So again, not his best, but from a guy coming off what he has over the last weekend, pretty good.
Burrows late on the fastball, fouls it off to stay alive. Burrows statistically the best hitter on this team, 367 his average on the season. As he grounds one softly back to Diaz on the mound, he'll underhand to first, and there's 1 away.
You know, it's happy for Yoancel Diaz and the kind of year that he's had, even though the numbers don't necessarily shine like you might want them to with the over 9 ERA. You figure he's in a lot of midweek contests, he's in a lot of adverse situations, so he hasn't necessarily gotten a chance to succeed as some of the premier arms in this bullpen have. But he's worked into a good pitch rotation with the fastball to curve. He's been able to use it well, and he's a decent arm in this Wildcats pen.
First pitch, the fastball misses downstairs to Marshall Jonas, who made the catch in foul territory to end the Wildcat 5th. Jonas 1 for 2 as he watches a fastball strike inside corner. 1-1. In the second, Jonas flew out to right field, and then he singled up the middle in the 4th as there's a breaking ball right in the heart of the zone, and it's 1-2. And that was the terrific play by Olesen at second to grab a wild ball from Fabo at third, grounded foul outside of third, still 1-2, and then get the glove down midair, acrobatic style, to tag Jonas on the back. And that one went to replay and was upheld. Here's the 1-2 from Diaz. Inside, 2-2. But you talk about Yoancel Diaz, the pitching performance that really stands out to me is here's the 2-2. Breaking ball towards second base. Diving stop by Olesen on the grass, and he cannot stand up to make the play, and he is down, and he is in considerable discomfort. And it looks like he's grabbing his right wrist as he dove headlong into the grass, and this is what you don't want if you're the Wildcats. Your best defender, your team captain, first game of the tournament, a game you're dominating, to be in some considerable discomfort out there in shallow right field after diving for a ball that was hit towards the middle, towards second base. It was similar to the play in the last inning where he dove, got it, and threw the runner out from his knees to end the inning. But that time, it's impossible to diagnose from here, but it looked like his wrist hit the ground.
Well, fortunately for Colton Olesen, a handful of weeks ago, he broke his ring finger on his right hand. And luckily, it's not the right hand, so it's not re-aggravating the same injury. At worst, you figure it's a jammed wrist. At best, maybe a dislocated finger or a jammed finger.
Well, the way he was down and like hopping around, the first thing I thought of was, oh, he's broken his wrist because he slid in and caught his wrist under his body. Because I've seen that happen. But he looks like he will be okay. He's walking off under his own power. I think at this point you're going to take him out of the game for precaution's sake. He turns and he kind of gives a wave to the crowd. So I think it might have just been, you're right, maybe a jammed finger or something, or maybe re-aggravated that hand injury that he had a couple weeks ago. And hopefully Colton is just out for precaution and he'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, you have the luxury of being able to take him out of this game, get him a blow. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few other defensive substitutions just throughout the remainder of this game with it very much in hand. So thankfully, you do your job to get in front and you have that flexibility. But again, it is a massive loss in many different ways if Colton Olesen cannot come back for tomorrow. But we'll check in with Coach Hernandez after the game and we'll update everybody from there.
The designated hitter is up now, Tyron Norris, with 1 on and 1 out in the inning. Yoancel Diaz winds and fires. Fastball strike inside corner. Norris lined out to short his first time up. A great stop by Cordova, then reached on a fielder's choice in the fourth. As that one's hit softly on the ground, but through the right field hole and in for a base hit. Tripping on his way around second was Marshall Jonas, and that's the only reason he didn't make it all the way to third. So 2 really soft ground balls to the first base side and 2 singles for Prairie View A&M here with 1 out in the 6th.
And something as simple as tripping over second base is kind of a microcosm of the whole afternoon or morning, for Prairie View. Just not a whole lot going right. You cost yourself an extra base there, even though it may have been a close play either way with this Wildcats outfield. Just kind of a tough break.
I'm not sure I mentioned it, but Jamie Villafane, who's usually a shortstop, is now playing second base for Bethune-Cookman. Fastball strike from Yoancel Diaz to Trenton Bush. Bush walked in the second, grounded out to third in the fourth in his 2 plate appearances. Prairie View A&M up to 5 hits on the day. And Diaz deals, breaking ball, swing and a miss. Something impressive about Yoancel is the fact that he gets a lot of swing and misses with that slow curveball. 22 strikeouts on the season and just 18 innings of work.
Yeah, when he's able to mix it well, it's some of the better swing and miss stuff on this staff.
He's ahead 0-2 from Bush. He'll check the runners and come home with it. That one softly tapped foul first base side. It was another curveball, which is really Diaz's go-to pitch if he wants a swing and miss. But unfortunately, we have seen him hang those over the middle and get pretty well torched. We saw it against Stetson and Mississippi Valley. Some people take him deep earlier in the season. The 0-2 again after a shrug of the shoulders. That one's fouled away again. Diaz went up and in with the fastball, and Trenton Bush barely could catch up with it. 3 strikeouts for Bethune-Cookman on the game, all credited to Tanner Bocabello. 2 of them to Michael Burrows and 1 to Michael Smith back in the early innings. The 0-2. Breaking ball. Throw back to first, and out at first is Tyron Norris. He got too big of a lead, and Jorge Rodriguez guns him down.
Another one that looked close. I wonder if that means that Prairie View is out of challenges for not challenging. Again, I don't think that he was safe, but we see just a lot of going before thinking about it, just going right to that monitor. But Prairie View out of hand here, not doing it here.
Breaking ball, chopped toward third. Fabo fields deep in the hole, fires across the diamond in time to end the inning. So the Wildcats defense once again gets him out of the jam, and no runs on 2 hits, 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Wildcats up 16-1 here on the CatEye Network and 1380 WELE. We've got a pinch hitter for Bethune-Cookman as we start the bottom of the 6th. Wildcats with a commanding lead in the first game of the SWAC tournament, 16-1. It'll be Frankie Feblis batting in place of Jorge Gonzalez Fabo, and he'll probably come into play third as well. This is well-deserved for Frankie Feblis, a senior on this team. We honored him on Saturday for Senior Day. First pitch to him is low ball, 1 from Aguado, who's back out there for Prairie View, and he had an amazing performance. MVP of the game. They just announced Mason High School as the new catcher. He's been in for a couple of innings as Feblis fouls it back. The count is 1-1. In that game, Feblis struck out, was hit by 2 pitches, and scored 2 runs, and of course made 9 plays defensively at third base that resulted in outs. There's a strike arcing through the zone to the inside of Feblis, 1-2.
The guy that's certainly paid his dues to this program, done anything assigned, dealt with some health issues last year, was a regular starter the year before, deserves this opportunity.
Breaking ball misses outside, 2-2. So stay tuned after the game to our post-game report here on the CatEye Network Radio. We'll hear from head coach Jonathan Hernandez as he breaks down the first game of this week's, I almost said series. It's not quite a series. Tournament. Feblis fouls one straight back onto the roof. Count holds 2-2. On the season, Feblis just batting 179, 8 runs on 5 hits. Here's the pitch. He's rung up. Strike 3 on the outside corner. That's a pretty generous outside corner, if I'm being opinionated. So 1 away in the inning, and now here's Ramses Cordova, who has maybe had the best day of anybody wearing maroon and gold. 2 home runs, 1 to left, 1 to right center, and 4 RBI. And there's a slider outside, strike 1. Correction. 6 RBI for Cordova on the game. Didn't count himself. Breaking ball outside. So Algado or Aguado, excuse me, is just primarily going to the slider now, just trying to get that call in the outside corner. Here's the 1-1. That one low and in, 2-1. And we stressed at the beginning of this game, Bryce, how important it was to win because of the extra rest you get. You get over 24 hours. You don't play till 3:30 tomorrow, as that one's tap foul right at home plate. Cordova stays alive, 2-2. So you get basically the whole day. We're going to be out here around noon, I guess. Get to go back to the hotel, relax, take a load off, and really prep yourself for whoever comes out of the other game in this bracket tomorrow. Here's the 2-2. Swinging a grounder foul outside of third. Nice catch by Coach Hernandez there in the third base coach's box.
You do have to make sure with the longer layoff relative to these other teams that you don't let it be an excuse for you to get inside your own head. You know, baseball players have a tendency to think a little bit too much. Don't rest too high on what you've done already, and don't stress too much about what is left to be done. Take today, think about it, figure out what you can improve on really what was a complete performance, and then throw it out and get ready for tomorrow.
The last pitch was outside. It's 3-2. Here it is, and it's a check swing, strike three, and down goes Cordova. So 2 straight strikeouts for Aguado to start this top of the 7th inning. And we'll have another pinch hitter as Jamie Villafane will pinch hit, quote unquote, for Colton Olson. He came in relief when Colton Olson had a bit of an injury in the last inning out at second base. So he's currently playing second, Jamie Villafane. Slider strike outside corner. The same slider strike has started all 3 at-bats for Aguado in this inning. Wildcats just got to maybe have to go with it and try to poke it the other way. That one's low, 1-1. So we will be on the air, barring something catastrophic happening, at around 3:20 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Here's the 1-1. Is low, 2-1. The Wildcats will play the winner of the West's number 1 seed Texas Southern and the East's number 4 seed Jackson State. Here's the 2-1 from Aguado to Villafane, getting his first at-bat of the game, and he hits one in the air. Left field and deep. Back towards the wall. It is caught. Oh, what a leaping catch by Michael Burrows. Full sprint into the wall, and he hung on to it.
Jamie Villafane there, disbelief to first and second, was hustling down the line even with that long ball. Wildcats put hard charge into it, but just not quite enough that time.
We go to the top of the 7th. Wildcats needing just 3 outs to run Rule Prairie View A&M up 16-1 here on the CatEye Network Radio and 1380 WELE. Two defensive changes for the Wildcats as we head to the 7th. The speedster A.J. Smith takes over in center field, and Frankie Feblis takes over at third for Jose Gonzalez Febo. Lee Allen leads off for the Prairie View A&M Panthers. Wildcats lead at 16-1, need just 3 outs to get out of here with a opening day win. First pitch, a fastball strike inside corner from Yoancel Diaz, who's looked pretty good. Gave up 2 soft hits to the right-hand side, but otherwise got some soft contact, let the defense work behind him, as that one's fouled back to the screen. He's ahead of Allen 0-2. Allen 0 for 2 on the day, lined out to second base. A nice diving catch by Olison, as that one's a ball outside. 1-2, as we have a booth visitor. Little bee or wasp or something.
Shout out Alabama State.
Oh, look at that. It's a strikeout for Diaz as he gets Lee Allen to go down, and that is out number 1.
And if you drew up a perfect recipe for the start to a tournament, this is how you do it. I mean, for Yoancel Diaz to come out and to look sharp and to be able to take the reins from Tanner Bocabello and take us home, really excellent.
Here's Mason Highskill. Remember, he is in place of the catcher, Derek Lathan Jr. This is the second at-bat for Highskill. He singled to the right-hand side his first time up, stole second, and was stranded there. There's a fastball strike, 1-1. I talked about it briefly at the end of the last half inning that we will play the winner of Texas Southern and Jackson State tomorrow at 3:30. Breaking ball low from Diaz, 2-1 to Highskill. I'm not sure if you're the Wildcats who you want to see out of that game. Here's the 2-1. Upstairs 3-1, because with Jackson State you get familiarity, but familiarity of a team that has pounded you a couple of times this year, crucially a 19-5 decision in Daytona Beach back in March. That one's low, ball 4. First walk given up by Yoancel Diaz, and there's a runner aboard with 1 down.
And Jackson State, in that run rule game, that was after 2 straight losses. So they've shown the ability to bounce back. They don't get rattled super easily, and everybody in the SWAC East is just so tough. I'll tell you this, I think Texas Southern very much should be on upset alert. Absolutely respect what they were able to do in the regular season, but the West just continues to kind of have a way of flaming out a little bit by the time we get to the SWAC tournament. Jackson State's a nightmare matchup.
Here's Isaac Davila, takes a first pitch fastball outside for ball 1. Davila was hit by a pitch and scored the only run in the game for Prairie View back in the 3rd inning. Stole second, was doubled home by Michael Smith. He's got Highskill on first with 1 out, and another ball that's spiked into the dirt from Yoancel Diaz. Jorge Rodriguez just going to try and calm his pitcher down a little bit. On the other side today, in the B bracket, we've got Grambling State and Alabama State, and Florida A&M against Southern. 2 very intriguing matchups. The Alabama State Grambling State matchup could end 1 billion to 1,000,000,001. Okay, both of those teams can hit the ball super hard. Pitching depth not really quite there. And then Florida A&M going to lean on their SWAC pitcher of the year, Granger, to try and get past a really scrappy Southern team. Here's the 2-0 from Diaz after the meeting on the mound. There's a fastball striking on the hands, and it's 2-1.
Especially in the first 2 days of this tournament, I don't think you're going to see a ton of pitchers duels. There's going to be a lot of runs scored. It's just kind of the nature of this conference. Even though some of its best teams are powered by pitching, the depth starts to suffer a little bit.
2-1, line drive foul, third base side. Davila got a hold of it just a little bit in front of that breaking ball. Wildcats ahead here in the 7th. About to close out a run rule victory, currently lead at 16-1. Breaking ball, swing and a miss from Davila. He was so confused on that changeup, he goes down.
And even though Yoancel Diaz has averaged just a little bit more than a strikeout an inning this year, he's got a good mixture, and we've seen to be able to get it. When he gets that tight break on that curveball, he's able to use it to set up the hard stuff, and he can really fool some guys. That's why it's just been such a great season of growth for him, even when we saw him last year about this time do so well in this tournament.
First pitch to Michael Smith is a fastball low, just below the knees, potentially last up for Prairie View in this game. Smith struck out in the first, had an RBI double that snuck inside the third base bag and went to the corner in the 3rd, and then flied out to right in the 5th. Fastball strike inside corner. Yoancel Diaz is loving that fastball in on the hands, and the umpire behind the plate's giving it to him. Wildcats 1 out away here with Highskill on first and 2 down. Here's the pitch. Highskill goes. Breaking ball, strike, arcing right to the middle of the zone, and Prairie View A&M is down to their last strike. Highskill will take second base, his second steal of the game. And now a runner on second. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yoancel Diaz winds and fires. Swing and a miss. Got him with the curveball. The throw down to first is in time. And this one belongs to the maroon and gold. I'm not sure how much more of a statement you need, Bryce Ranowski.
Yeah, these Wildcats are coming back for what they left off last year, and this is maybe the best performance under Jonathan Hernandez coach team we've seen in the SWAC playoffs. They've had their fair share of blowouts to be able to come in and take care of business right out of the gate. You wasted no time. 7th spot in the bottom of the first. Your starter, Tanner Bocabello, is good, only lets up the 1 run. Not the best we've seen him. Still doesn't have to work super deep into this game. Only 80 pitches. You save him for later in the week. Yoancel Diaz does his job out of the bullpen. I think the highlight for me in today's game obviously has to be Ramses Cordova, because when you go into these tournaments and you talk about guys that have to step up, he wouldn't be high on your list out of the gate. That would be somebody like a Garrett Chun or a Manny Sufrain or somebody else. But to have somebody in the lower half of the order come through the way he has, power these Wildcats to this massive win out of the gate, it is how you win tournaments and it is how you win championships.
Stay tuned here on the post-game show here from Rush Chandler Stadium. We'll hear from head coach Johnny Hernandez shortly, as soon as Bryce can run downstairs to set up that interview. Your final line score here in the first game of this tournament, it's a big one. Bethune-Cookman, 16 runs on 11 hits. They committed no errors. They only stranded 1 runner on base. For Prairie View A&M, 1 run on 5 hits. They committed 1 error and left 5 on base. Tanner Bocabello picks up the victory. He goes to 8-2 on the season, will lower his 2.79 ERA even further. There is a reason he was named the SWAC Newcomer of the Year and the Perfect Game preseason All-SWAC Pitcher of the Year. For the Panthers, the loss goes to Michael Dews. He's now 4-4 on the year with his 6.14 ERA will be completely elevated. He gave up 7 runs with only 1 out gained in the first inning before he was replaced by Elijah Breeden. Breeden did a pretty good job. His final line score was, as I try and navigate here, Breeden was 3 2/3 innings pitched at the bulk of the middle of the game, but still gave up 5 hits and 6 runs, all earned. We are still hopefully getting that interview set up with Coach Hernandez. Give me 1 second to make sure the technology works. Can you hear me down there? And we are now joined by Coach Hernandez. Coach, can you hear me down there? We're still trying to work out a couple of the issues here. This is the first time we have tried to do this kind of remote interview, and it may not work. We may have to go to a different system for the rest of this tournament. And unfortunately, we're not going to have Coach on the broadcast. I could not get the mobile interview rig to work. So we will continue to work on that. We'll hear from Coach Hernandez in the pregame show for tomorrow's game. That's, of course, 3:30 here on the CatEye Network on YouTube. No WELE tomorrow, unfortunately, because programming unavailable. The only time we'll be back on WELE is potentially if we get to the championship game on Sunday. Once again, your final score here from McNeese Baseball Park in Atlanta. Bethune-Cookman 16 runs on 11 hits, no errors, 1 left. Prairie View 1 run on 5 hits, 1 error, and 5 left. For Bryce Wojnowski and our entire media team here at the SWAC tournament, my name is Michael Cervello. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow for round 2.